The rain drummed softly against the windows as Daniel parked his brand new SUV in front of his mother's small house. He stepped out proudly, smoothing his expensive jacket. "Mom," he called. "Come outside. I have something to show you." Linda opened the front door. At 68, her hair had turned silver, and her hands carried the marks of decades of hard work. She smiled as she walked toward him. Daniel pointed at the shiny black SUV. "What do you think?" "It's beautiful," Linda said. "Beautiful?" "Mom, it cost more than your house did 20 years ago." She laughed softly. "I'm happy for you." Daniel folded his arms. "You know, I could buy you a new car too. Your old sedan is falling apart." Linda looked at her faded blue car parked beside the house. "It still gets me where I need to go." "Mom, that thing is ancient." "And I'm ancient too," she replied with a grin. Daniel shook his head. "You never want anything." "Not true." "Then tell me what you want." "A new car. A bigger house. A vacation?" Linda stared at him for a moment. "No, thank you." Daniel sighed. "Why do you always say no?" "Because I don't need that." The answer irritated him. Ever since he became successful, he had tried buying her things. She refused nearly everything. 1 week later, Daniel visited again. This time he arrived frustrated after a stressful day at work. As he entered the house, he found Linda making tea. "Mom, you should stop living like this." She looked up. "Like what?" "In this tiny house, driving that old car, wearing clothes you've had forever." Linda smiled. "Sit down, Daniel." But he continued. "I make enough money now. You sacrificed everything for me. Why won't you let me take care of you?" She quietly poured tea into 2 cups. Finally, she said. Daniel frowned. "What?"
Your keys.
Confused, he handed them over. Linda stood up and walked outside. "Mom, come with me." They climbed into his SUV. Linda started the engine and slowly drove down the street. "Since when do you drive my car?" Daniel asked. "Since today." 10 minutes later, she stopped in an empty parking lot. She turned off the engine. Then she looked directly at him. "Daniel, check the glove box." "What?" "Just open it." Curious, he reached forward and opened it. Inside was a small yellow envelope. His name was written on the front. The handwriting made his stomach tighten. It belonged to his late father. Daniel froze. "Mom, go ahead." With trembling fingers, he opened the envelope. Inside was a letter. The paper was old and worn. He began to read. "Dear Daniel, if you're reading this, it means your mother finally decided the time was right." Daniel swallowed hard. "I won't be there to watch you grow up. But your mother will. She will work harder than anyone you've ever known." His eyes blurred. "There may come a day when you're successful. A day when you want to repay her for everything she gave you." Daniel's hands started shaking. "When that day comes, remember something important. Your mother never dreamed of expensive cars. She never cared about big houses. The things she wants most can't be bought." Tears formed in Daniel's eyes. "She wants your time. She wants your calls. She wants you to visit even when you're busy. She wants to know she didn't raise a son who only remembers her when it's convenient." Daniel could barely continue. "If you truly want to repay her, don't buy her things. Be there. Love her while you still can. One day you'll discover that time is worth more than money. Love, Dad." Daniel lowered the letter. Silence filled the car. Rain tapped softly against the windshield. Then he noticed something else in the envelope. A stack of photographs. Pictures of his mother working night shifts. Pictures of her repairing his school uniform. Pictures of birthdays she celebrated with homemade cakes because she couldn't afford store-bought ones. Pictures he had never seen before. His chest tightened. "How long have you had this?" he whispered. 25 years. "Why didn't you show me?" Linda smiled sadly. "Because you weren't ready." A tear rolled down Daniel's cheek. He suddenly remembered all the missed calls. The canceled visits. The holidays spent at business conferences. The promises of next week. He had tried giving his mother everything except the one thing she truly wanted. Him. "Mum," he said softly. "Yes, I've been a terrible son." "No, less." She reached over and squeezed his hand. "You've been busy. That's not an excuse." For a moment neither spoke. Then Daniel asked, "What do you really want?" Linda looked out the window. "A Sunday lunch." "What?" "A Sunday lunch once a week." Daniel stared at her. "No new car. No luxury vacation." She laughed. "No, Just lunch. He began crying openly. All these years he had assumed her love had a price. It didn't. The following Sunday, Daniel arrived with no gifts, no expensive surprises, no grand gestures, just himself. The next Sunday he came again, and the Sunday after that. Months passed, then years. The old blue sedan eventually stopped running. Daniel bought her another car. This time she accepted. Not because she needed the car, but because she already had what mattered most. One afternoon, while sitting beside her son at lunch, Linda smiled and said, "You know, Daniel, I was right." "About what?" "I didn't need all those things." Daniel smiled back. "No, Mom." He squeezed her hand. "You just needed me." And for the first time in years, she had exactly that.